How are you doing, guys? It's Damien here. If you look at my investments, the majority of the companies I hold shares in have these attributes in common: high growth, high margins, low or no debt, and plenty of cash on their balance sheets. Such a selection of companies gives me a margin of safety when investing. There are many examples of companies which crashed their stock price because their already low margins went even lower or ended up in the negative territory. The gaming sector is what gives me high net profit margins, and that is one of the reasons why I am overweight in that sector. But I do not just invest in every company producing games. I have chosen companies with exceptionally high margins. And to achieve it, the company has to have great products, but also need to keep their costs low. Keep watching to find out which gaming companies I bet on heavily. I will also explain why gaming companies are not going to be affected by the coronavirus outbreak in China.
Thanks to automation in many areas of our lives, people have more time for such activities as playing games. You no longer need to hand wash your clothes or prepare your food every day. A company like Uber with its food delivery service allows people to order their food from their favorite restaurants. It makes sense for many people to save time needed for food preparation. They order from UberEATS and they can have more time for what they enjoy doing. For example, for playing games. The global gaming market grows steadily, and it will continue to do so. The overall market develops at a pace of 11% annually. The fastest growing segment is mobile gaming, with the annual growth of 26.8%. PC and console gaming became very competitive. Its pace of growth is slowing down. It means the focus of gaming companies should be on the quality of their productions. As the time of every player is limited, they will only have time to play the best games. Gamers, knowing that they need to spend several dozens of hours of their time to finish just one game, will not spend money on the products they will not have the time to play. The effect of the fierce competition is that the game has to stand out to bring the attention of gamers. Some companies may try to reduce the time for developing the game in the effort to release a new game. I do not think it works because the first impression is what drives the opinions on gaming websites, and this will in turn encourage or turn away people from paying for the game. Among the companies with very high profit margins are game developers in Poland. Poland is a quickly growing country, but the salaries for software developers or video game specialists are still much lower than in the United States or in Western Europe. In the past, I considered being a programmer. I saw that this is the industry which is delivering good prospects. Coding gives you leverage. You can write the app or a game and replicate it with almost no cost. I decided to follow my passion, which is investing and financial analysis. I discovered that I do not have to be a programmer to benefit from the growth of this industry. I can buy shares of companies and take profits from their growth. Let's compare the net profit margins for my gaming companies versus leading game developing companies from the United States. Net profit margin is the percentage of revenue left after all expenses have been deducted from sales. The first group of the companies which represent a significant part of my portfolio are AAA games developers. These developers have typically higher development and marketing budgets. You can think about these AAA games in analogy to the film industry. Term blockbuster. My biggest positions among game developers in this category are CD Projekt and 11-bit Studios. I do not think I need to introduce you CD Projekt. But for some of you, it is the company which stands behind the Witcher game series. Their profit margins are between 30 to 60%. The higher range is usually the effect of a big release of a new game. That is why the expected profit margins for CD Projekt company are above 60% in 2020 and 2021. CD Projekt's next production, Cyberpunk 2077, is planned for release in September 2020. It is the most anticipated game of this year, and analysts predict sales in the region of 30 million copies. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It will help reach more people and will encourage me to give you more useful content. 11-Bit Studios is a significantly smaller gaming company. Their famous productions include This War of Mine and Frostpunk. Their profit margins are in a similar range of values as for CD Projekt company. The other two Polish gaming companies in my portfolio are Playway and 10 Square Games. 10 Square Games is focused on mobile games development. Playway's productions include productions of PC, consoles, and mobile games. You can see from this chart that mobile games provide a lower profit margin, but I am still happy with 10 Square Games achieving almost 30% net profit margin from their productions. Activision Blizzard is the biggest game developing company. If you are a gamer, you have to recognize some of the productions from this video game studio: Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, or Diablo. Take-Two Interactive is the third largest publicly traded game company. The company is responsible for producing Grand Theft Auto, Civilization, or Red Dead Redemption video games. For comparison, Activision Blizzard has net profit margins in the range of 25%, which is 2 times lower than what CD Projekt can achieve. Take-Two Interactive has, on average, 4 times lower net margins than CD Projekt company. What it all means is that CD Projekt company can sell 4 times fewer copies of their productions and still generate the same net income as Take-Two Interactive company. So how is it possible that these 4 Polish gaming companies have so high net profit margins?
Do they do not pay salaries to their employees?
No, it is not the reason, but it is close. CD Projekt is considered to be like Take-Two Interactive studio. What I mean by that is that they focus on the quality over quantity and delivering only great productions. Take-Two Interactive is a much bigger studio. Its market capitalization is around 2 times bigger than CD Projekt. And you could think that it is understandable and maybe CD Projekt is overvalued massively. Take-Two Interactive revenue is almost 4 times higher than the expected revenue of CD Projekt after the release of Cyberpunk 2077. The difference is in profit margins. For Take-Two Interactive, net margins are 10 to 15%. For CD Projekt Red, it is expected their net profit margins to be above 50% for the 4 quarters after the release of the Cyberpunk 2077 game. It is a significant difference. It means that the net profit for CD Projekt can be higher than for its competitor. Take-Two Interactive has over 5 times more employees. Additionally, average salaries of a software developer or game developer are 3 to 3.5 times higher in New York than in Warsaw. Now you may understand why I prefer to invest in game developer companies from Poland than from the United States. There are more reasons I prefer to invest my money in gaming companies from Poland. Emerging markets are undervalued and the Polish stock market is still considered emerging market, but the Polish economy is doing well. We can see from this infographic that Polish stock market is more than 2 times cheaper than the United States stock market. At some point, the capital will migrate to cheaper markets, so it should bring more money to the gaming industry in Poland too. Additionally, the Employees' Capital Pension Scheme started at the end of 2019. That is the equivalent of private pension in the United Kingdom. The consequence of this scheme is going to be more capital being directed into the Polish stock market. As you can hear, there are reasons to be optimistic about the stock market in Poland. One of the reasons I have so much money in gaming companies is that my initial stakes increased in value significantly since I bought them. The most significant gains were from mobile game producers, Playway and 10 Square Games. Both companies grew by more than 120%. I'm going to tell you how I built my positions in all my gaming companies. I bought my first shares of Playway in August and September 2018. I paid between 139 and 170 Polish zlotys for a share. I have added to my position in May and June 2019, and the share price was in the range of 170 to 189 zlotys. The current price is 372 zlotys, and my average gain is 123.22%. Similarly, I bought shares of 10 Square Games company in August and September 2018 for the price below 100 zlotys per share. I added more shares in June 2019 for around 120 zlotys per share. The current share price is 262 zlotys, and the company generated the average return of 145.11%. Now, 11-bit Studios. I bought shares of 11-bit Studios in June 2019 below 400 zlotys per share. I added more shares in July 2019 for around 410 zlotys. Then I almost doubled the position in November 2019 for prices between 336 and 345 zlotys. The current price means that the share price increased by 20.64% in comparison with my average buying price. Okay, then my most significant exposure to Polish company, CD Projekt. I bought shares of CD Projekt in June, July and August 2019 for the price between 200 and 230 zlotys. Then I increased the position in September 2019, and I almost doubled the position after the panic related to the decision to move the release of the Cyberpunk 2077 game. The positive news is that the majority of the comments on the Facebook groups about Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt are positive. Fans do not mind waiting slightly longer if the game is going to be much better polished. Such brand loyalty and trust of customers is something I look for in my investments. My average buying price is 241.03 zlotys and my current return is plus 35.67%. So as you have just heard, one of the reasons for such exposure is that their share price increased a lot since I bought shares of these companies.
In my stocks to buy series, I told you about the gaming sector.
I made a point that the gaming industry will benefit from the outbreak of coronavirus in China. I suggested that CD Projekt and 11-bit Studios should be good choices. Well, I was right so far. CD Projekt shares went up almost 16% and 11-bit Studios share price gained 6.5%. People in China are required to stay at home. Gaming is one of the choices they have to spend that extra free time. This article from CNN provides some insights on the scale of this behavior. Total game downloads on Apple's App Store in China increased 27.5% year over year, and revenue rose by 12.1% according to market research firm Sensor Tower. My Polish investments are mainly gaming companies. I try to apply minimalism to my finances. What I mean by that is a good selection. Each month I go through all of my stocks and try to order them. I consider their valuation and their potential growth in that specific moment. In that way, I select the best and most prosperous businesses. If some company is low on this list and I would not buy it now for the current price, it is probably a position I should get rid of. If it is not a buy, it is a sell. I do not expect to find plenty of great companies which deserves to be in my portfolio. I own 6 Polish companies currently, but these 4 gaming developers consist of around 90% of the value of my Polish investments. I showed you some of the reasons I invested a significant part of my portfolio in gaming companies. High net profit margins and focus on delivering quality products are their strengths. What I also like about these businesses is that they do not have debt or only very low debt. They sit on plenty of cash on their balance sheets. There are different types of leverage. In the past, the capital and people were dominating. Currently, coding gives you the advantage. After the initial cost of production, the costs of sales are marginal, The side effect of coronavirus is that people play more video games, but gaming companies did not have to put more effort to increase their sales numbers. That is the leverage I like among my investments, and my Polish gaming companies meet this criteria. Let me know, what are you planning? Do you have any money allocated in the shares of these companies? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to receive a notification about a new video being published, or feel free to add me on Instagram, Stocks and Freedom. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy investing!